Well, India's Choksi hunt continues. India today has learned from sources that the ED is going to be filing an affidavit before the Dominican court with details of Mehul Choksi's criminal activities. The probe agency will be explaining to the court how Choksi is an Indian citizen and on what grounds he should be then deported to India. Meanwhile, India today has accessed two documents of a yacht which ferried Choksi in a hush-hush manner to Dominica, possibly after being lured and honey-trapped by a mystery girl. The document from Antigua Immigration says that this yacht left on the 23rd of May for Dominica and undertook a journey of about 190 kilometers. The journey could have not been normally taken 3 days, but the document from the Dominica Immigration shows the yacht arrived on the 25th of May. The Dominica opposition now claims that the 3-day gap in Choksi's itinerary confirms he was abducted as part of an elaborate operation by India, Antigua and Dominica.
Everybody in Dominica knows that Mehul Choksi arrived in Dominica or came into Dominica on the night of in the evening of the 23rd, Sunday the 23rd of May. Now, it's interesting because the Customs and Immigration clearance documents from Antigua indicate that the vessel on which Choksi is supposed to have arrived in Dominica left Antigua at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, the 23rd. They were coming straight to Dominica, that's the next port. That would have put them here, except they had some difficulty at sea, on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening sometime. And that is what the locals in the area report, that the boat actually came in on the 23rd.
Well, that's the allegation of the opposition in Antigua that is now saying and visibly seems to be backing Mehul Choksi, making these allegations about there being a pact essentially between these countries to abduct Choksi and that there was a criminal conspiracy against Choksi is what is being said. In fact, the government in Antigua there has been claiming that Mehul Choksi has been funding the opposition and that's one of the reasons why he is being supported by the opposition. So that's playing out domestically as well in Antigua. Geeta Mohan, our foreign affairs editor, is tracking that story very closely. Geeta, first, a bit of clarity, and this is going to change a lot and going to have a bearing also on this matter when it comes up in court tomorrow, on whether Mehul Choksi has given up his Indian citizenship and holds the citizenship of Antigua, or whether he still is an Indian citizenship.
Well, that's right, Neha. That's a very important point that the Indian officials are going to raise. They are also filing an application for deportation of Mehul Choksi, in which they're going to do two things. One is talk about citizenship of Mehul Choksi, and the other about the criminal acts of Mehul Choksi in India and the way he defrauded the country and the people of the country. Having said that, the Indian rules are very clear when it comes to citizenship itself. The fact that he's taken citizenship of Antigua and is a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, Sneha, is something that will have to be considered because India does not recognize dual citizenship. And if India does not recognize dual citizenship, everything else is only niceties and details. So we will have to wait and see whether if Dominica is going to be convinced with India's arguments. But citizenship is only one aspect. It is about the laws of the land. The constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, where the opposition is saying that it's violative of the constitution if an Antiguan citizen is being asked to be handed over to a third country. Dominica similarly saying the same thing, that is against the laws of their land to be looking at deporting somebody when they are a part of the CARICOM countries, the Caribbean countries, and Antigua is the country where he belongs to. So in all probability, there will be a tough case that the Indian officials will have to fight regarding the repatriation or deportation, whatever may happen tomorrow. The Mehul Choksi team is looking at repatriation to Antigua, and that's what they're pushing for.
All right, Geeta, thanks for getting us those details there. Geeta Mohan putting that story into perspective. But what next for Mehul Choksi? Let's just try and look at the possible 3 scenarios and what could work for him and what possibly may not work for him. Scenario number 1, Dominican court says he entered the country illegally and should serve punishment there. That's a possibility, will work against Mehul Choksi. Scenario number 2, deported back to Antigua since he's an Antiguan citizen. That's what he has been claiming. India says otherwise. Extradited to India because of the red corner notice. That's going to be a legal process. It's going to involve some amount of time and a lot of paperwork. Little complicated. His Indian citizenship was never cancelled. That's what India has been saying. And this, if works, could be the best case scenario for India. Though deportation is what India would be happier about, since that again is a process that takes a shorter period of time if you compare it with extradition. Well, there's mystery also surrounding Choksi's trip to Dominica. He says he's been abducted, honey-trapped. That's the allegation. But otherwise, it's being said that he went to Dominica at his own will and that was a mistake he made. At the center of this controversy and this mystery is one woman. The Antiguan Prime Minister claimed that this woman is Choksi's girlfriend, who he took on a romantic getaway. Well, this diamond merchant's lawyer is alleging that the woman was part of an elaborate conspiracy to abduct him and take him out of Antigua. Geeta Mohan and Munish Pandey get us this report.
A pleasure trip with his girlfriend on a yacht, lured by a woman and then abducted to Dominica, or escape to Cuba gone horribly wrong. Mehul Choksi missing from the Caribbean nation Antigua and surfacing in Dominican custody 2 days later. Replete with multiple unanswered questions, claims and counters. India today has learned that Choksi was indeed with a girl when he landed in Dominica and that it appears to be a case of being honey-trapped. Sources say the woman was staying in Antigua and sometime back started meeting Mehul Choksi during his morning and evening walks. She also befriended him and later on May the 23rd called him to an apartment to meet her. But when Choksi reached the apartment, many people were already there who allegedly abducted, kidnapped and took Mehul Choksi to Dominica, where he was arrested. Choksi's lawyers, however, say the girl was part of the team which was involved in the alleged abduction and torture of Choksi.
महिला थी जो उनके पड़ोस में आके रहती थी और फिर उन्होंने शिफ्ट कर लिया था, तो उनकी फैमिली में भी आना जाना था. इवनिंग में वॉक पे मिल जाते थे दोनों आपस में. तो जो इन्होंने, वो लेडी पहले शिफ्ट हुई थी और जो पूरा पता चल रहा है कि वो भी इस ऑपरेशन का हिस्सा थी. तो इनको ट्रैप करने के लिए वो लेडी को सीड किया गया था.
The revelation comes days after Antiguan Prime Minister Gaston Brown claimed that Mehul Choksi had fled to Dominica on a romantic trip with his girlfriend.
The information that we're getting now is that he may have taken his girlfriend to Dominica, probably to dinner to have a good time and so on, and got caught. Now, that would have been a monumental error.
Amidst the twists and turns, India today has accessed a fresh set of Choksi pictures from the Dominican hospital where he was admitted. Choksi is seen with apparent injury marks on his body, which his lawyers claim are due to beating and electric shocks given to him.
बॉडी पे इतनी सारी इंजरीज हैं, आपने देखा फेस पे इतनी सारी इंजरीज हैं, आंख फूटी हुई है. तो ये जो इंजरीज हैं ये इलेक्ट्रिकल शॉक से दी गई इंजरीज हैं और ये जेन्युइन इंजरीज हैं. और जब उनको उठाया गया फोर्सिबली या एंटीगा से और याcht पे रखा गया और फिर पुलिस स्टेशन ले जाया गया, तो ये उस बीच के दौरान की ये सारी की सारी इंजरीज हैं.
Choksi may also have used forged papers to escape Antigua with his girlfriend. India today spoke to the travel firm believed to have ferried him to Antigua. The firm under fire now claims it never transported Choksi or his girlfriend.
Based on the photos that are circulating, I did not see anybody of that look on this particular boat, or not the boat or anybody that we did clearances for. Nevertheless, this boat that came in did not have any woman on board.
The Antiguan Prime Minister earlier claimed that Choksi has been bribing the opposition there to escape extradition. The claim was, however, denied by local politicians.
What is happening here, is that they are literally defending the campaign money. So here's a situation in which Choksi had the best law firm representing him. But some UPP individuals befriended him, started to take money from him, small contributions. And he promised them big contributions since they told him that they will get their UPP lawyers to get him off the hook. And that if they win the next general elections, that they will protect him.
When Mr. Choksi was taken to Dominica, our understanding is that he eventually was detained, but the persons who brought him there were never detained. But the fact that only he was detained would suggest that those who brought him there had some form of cover. And I wouldn't want to prejudge the matter, but I'm simply saying that that's a question that I would want to see answered.
Choksi's Caribbean caper is no less than a Bollywood thriller. Did the star fraudster himself fall victim to an elaborate fraud, or staged an elaborate stunt to hoodwink India once again? With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, India Today has learned that wrestler Sushil Kumar was under surveillance of cops for a very long time for hobnobbing with hardcore criminals and gangsters. The Olympian, however, used to leave little evidence of his crime links. Sushil actually started his nexus with criminal world in 2017 after joining toll collection business, while he tied up with a toll company which was in need for muscle power to collect toll from motorists. Sources say Sushil sought help from gangster Anil Bhatti, who is the nephew of jailed mafia don Sundar Bhatti. The image on your screen confirms that Sushil Kumar knew Bhatti, who is wanted in many murder, extortion and assault cases, including murder of a BJP leader in Greater Noida in the year 2017. According to the police, toll booth workers were involved in heinous crimes like robbery, murder, extortion, among others. Now, because of growing allegations of criminal nexus, Sushil Kumar had to shut the toll booth operation. Well, vaccine shortage has hindered the inoculation drive in Tamil Nadu. The MK Stalin government is going to stop vaccination drive for 3 days, which is from the 3rd of June to the 5th of June. The state government has indicated via the state health secretary that the fresh batch of vaccines from the center is going to come only on the 6th of June, after which the drive is going to resume. The state government has revealed that 42 lakh vaccine doses have been allotted for June, which is double the number that was provided for May. The government is also awaiting response to global tenders floated for vaccines. The state is also facing a crunch in black fungus medicine, amphotericin.
What about the vaccination scenario? We also heard that the state is running out of vaccines and probably there could be no vaccines for a couple of days.
See, basically, the next month, Government of India has packed in more than double. The current month, they had given 20 lakh. Next month, they have promised 42 lakh. But, and overall also, against a supply of 96 lakh, we have spent 87. But in the beginning of today morning, we had 5 lakh, discounting wastage on hand. Knowing the pace, it will last for 2 days. But the first available supply from the next month, and the current month we have 1.74 to be given, which may land up in the next 2 or 3 days. But otherwise, we are hoping to get the vaccines only in 6th, based on the supply logistic line, which is already made. It is not as if that sudden change. So there is likely to be a break of 2 to 3 days because of logistical issues. We may not get the supply, though we are slated to get 42 lakhs coming month. See, lysosomal amphotericin, which is the drug of choice, is in short supply, and Government of India is making allocation depending on the number in each state, and we have been given roughly around, I think, 1,700 odd vials. But our cases are rising by the day, and we are roughly around 468 cases so far. So obviously, around 50 vials a person, it is quite a high number. We will require higher number.
Well, several villages in Bihar are witnessing vaccine hesitancy. India Today spoke to villagers of Saharsa who refused to get vaccinated, claiming that they would die after taking the jab. The administration is trying its best to bust these myths. Here's more.
Misinformation and fake news travel quickly. And when totally baseless reports reach rural India, it becomes dangerous. In Bihar's Saharsa village, people are refusing to take the vaccine. They are convinced it will kill them.
हम लोग को नहीं लगाए हैं।
क्या मतलब क्यों, किस कारण से नहीं लगाए?
उससे बोलता है आदमी मर जाता है, इसलिए नहीं लगवाए।
मर जाता है इससे? आपको डर लगता है इससे?
जी सर।
क्या चाहते हो फिर?
मरने से तो सबको न डर लगता है सर।
Aman Kumar's view is one that is shared by almost everyone in Saharsa.
नहीं लगाएंगे, हमारा मर्जी है।
सरकार बोल रही है वैक्सीन लगाइए।
बोल रहे हैं जब मर जाते हैं तो आते हैं देखने के लिए। जब हॉस्पिटल पहुंचते हैं हम बेहोश हो जाते हैं तो आते हो देखने के लिए।
41-year-old Pranav Kumar is quite convinced that the government is sending fake doses to villages.
जो ओरिजिनल वैक्सीन है वो तो बेच दिया गया है सरकार के द्वारा, वो गलत वैक्सीन दिया जाता है, क्या लगाएंगे? वैक्सीन लगाने के बाद हम लोग जो देख रहे हैं वो आदमी वैक्सीन लगाने के बाद मरता ही है, क्योंकि ओरिजिनल वैक्सीन है नहीं। वैक्सीन बेच दिया गया है सरकार के द्वारा और गलत वैक्सीन जो है वो उपयोग हो रहा है जनता पर।
Nobody in Saharsa, a village of 1,500 people, is willing to take the vaccine.
घटिया वैक्सीन दे रहा है, इसलिए सब डर रहे हैं। वैक्सीन ले रहे हैं तो बुखार आ जाता है, उसके बाद सही से अभी इलाज नहीं चल रहा है, इस कारण हम लोग भी वैक्सीन नहीं लेना चाहते हैं।
सरकार तो बोल रही है कि ये एक दिन के लिए होता है, थोड़ा बुखार हल्का आ जाता है या बदन दर्द थोड़ा होता है।
सरकार दे रहे हैं, सरकार सही चीज दे रहे हैं, पर यहाँ तक सही चीज नहीं आ पाता है ना।
वैक्सीन तो यही हम देख रहे हैं कि जैसे आदमी लेता है उसके बाद वो बीमार पड़ता है, उसका बाद तो देखते हैं वो मर जाता है, तो वैक्सीन क्या करेंगे लेकर के?
The state government is fighting on two fronts. Firstly, the virus itself, and secondly, in convincing people on the benefits of taking the vaccine shot.
जो नहीं लेना चाह रहे तो हम लोग घर घर जाके समझा रहे हैं उनको, जो लीजिए आप लोग, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, इससे आप बीमारी से बचिएगा। सरकार हम लोग को बचाने के लिए ना कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो यही इन लोग को दे रहे हैं दिमाग में, लेकिन बहुत लोग के दिमाग से निकला है ये सब बातें।
But move out of villages into towns of Bihar and the situation changes.
ये टीका तो सबको लेना चाहिए, सबके लिए जरूरी होता है ना।
But it's the rural parts which are of concern in the second wave of the virus, which is why the vaccine is so important. It could be the lifesaver in villages which historically lack medical facilities. With Rohit Kumar Singh, Bureau Report,